The question says the 9th and the 12th terms of an arithmetic progression AP are 50 and 65 respectively. The question asks us to find the sum of its first 70 terms. So let me attempt to answer this. Solution to this question. Term number 9 is given as 50 and term number 12 is given as 65. And we are interested in finding some of the first 70 terms. So I'll use what is given to find what is not given in the question. So let me write the formula for term at any position in an AP. Tn equals to A plus n minus 1 multiplied by D. And this is the simple formula we used to find the term at any position. So if I should attempt to make use of this. For term number 9 is given as 50, so I'm going to replace the 50 by Tn, but in that case n will now be 9, so I'm going to have 9 minus 1 over here. So let me just substitute. I'm going to have 50 equals to A plus 8D. Why this 8? Because if I'm using term number 9, the n I said is 9, so 9 minus 1 gives answer 8. So I'm going to have 50 equals to A plus 8D. I'm trying to get A and D so that I can answer this question, because the first term of the AP is not given and the common difference is not given. So I'm going to use this information to form two equations in terms of A and D so that I'll solve them simultaneously. This is just one of the equations, so let me use the other information. Term number 12. Term number 12 is 65, so let me substitute it also in the Tn formula. So I have 65 equals to A plus 11D. If I consider term number 12, n is going to be 12 here, so I'm going to have 12 minus 1, that gives 11, so I'm going to have 11D here, and that term number 12 is 65 given in the question. So these are two equations in terms of A and D, which I call equation 1 and equation 2. So I'm going to solve these two equations simultaneously so that I can get my A and my D. There I can go back and find this question, or I can solve this question that asks us to find the sum of its first 70 terms. So solving this simultaneously, I can now set the subtracted equation 1 from equation 2. I can see that the A have same coefficient, so A will be eliminated if I subtract. So I'm going to have 65 minus 50. That is going to be 15. A minus A will be 0. 11D minus 8D, that answer is going to be 3D. So I can now find D by dividing through by 3. So I'm going to have D equals to 5. So the common difference to this AP is now 5. So I can now substitute D with 5 in any of either equation 1 or equation 2 so that I can get to my first term, that is A. So substituting for D equals to 5 in equation 1, this is equation 1, which says 50 equals to A plus 8D. There I substitute, I'm going to have 50 equals to A plus 8 multiplied by 5. That is the equation 8 times D. D is now 5, so I have 8 multiplied by 5. So I multiply, I'm going to have 50 equals to A plus 40. 40 taken to the other side, I will now have A equals to 10. So the very first term is now 10 and the common difference is 5. So I now have the enough information to find or to answer this question that requires us to find the sum of its first 70 terms. So the formula for sum of an AP is given by this: Sn equals to n over 2 n2 2a plus n minus 1d. This is the formula we used to find the sum of very first n terms if it were an AP. So I have my A, I have my D, and I have my N because I'm asked to find the sum of first 70 terms. So N will now be 70. So substituted in this formula, I'm going to have S70, meaning sum of the first 70 terms is now going to be 70 over 2, that is n over 2, into 2 times a and 2 times 10, plus 70 minus 1, that is n minus 1, then multiplied by 5, that is my d. So I'm going to simplify this. 70 divided by 2 is 35, 2 times 10 is 20, and the 70 minus 1 is 69, then times 5. So I'm going to multiply before adding. So I'm going to have 35 into 20 plus 345. 345 is a result of multiplying 69 by 5. So I'm now going to add these two numbers in the bracket. So 20 plus 345 give result 365, then multiplied by 35, and the result, if done correctly, will now be 12,775. So this is the sum of the first 70 terms of this AP. So to that I have answered this question also. So let me show you the mark distribution for this very question according to the Neco marking scheme. So the very first mark is the bonus 1 mark, and this bonus 1 mark is for getting either this equation 1 or equation 2 correctly, that is substituting in the TN formula for term number 9 or term number 12, anyone that happens to be correct. You have this bonus 1 mark. Next mark is method mark, and that method mark is solving these two equations simultaneously. So you have the method 1 mark, any of the method, either substitution method or elimination method. Then the next mark is accuracy mark, and this mark is for getting d equals to 5. So next mark is method mark. That method mark is substituting d in attempt to get a in any of the equation. And the next mark is another accuracy mark for getting a equals to 10 exactly. Next mark is for substituting a, d, and n in an attempt to get the sum of the first 70 terms. So there you have method 1 mark, and simplifying up to the end gives you another method 1 mark. And the final mark is the accuracy mark, where you have 12,775 as the sum of the first 70 terms. So in total, the question allocated to this, the total marks allocated to this question is 8 marks.